A story is told of a tired missionary who returned to his small little church in Scotland. It was winter and cold, bitterly cold. And here stood this missionary trying to encourage his people to go into the mission fields of Africa. It was a tiny little congregation, and most of them were well over the ages of 70. So very discouraged, the missionary challenged the audience to go. Who will go? Who can we send? With almost nobody responding, the missionary was disheartened. However, there was a little boy who was assisting the organist, and the little boy called out, "Sir, I will go." And that little boy was David Livingstone, the great, great missionary to Africa. But the story does not end there. The missionary encouraged David Livingstone to become a doctor, and so that he could meet the practical needs of the African people. Years later, David Livingstone went to Africa and transformed the continent. One of the stories is told that a chief, an African chief, set out to kill David Livingstone and his entire ministry team. Word reached David Livingstone, and he was obviously nervous, concerned for his team. And they waited for the attack. On the said night, nothing happened. Time went by, and it was discovered that the chief had given his heart to Jesus. On an occasion, David Livingstone had a chance to talk to the chief and said to him words like this: "Chief, I thought you and your men were going to kill us that night, but you never turned up." And the chief said, "Oh, yes, we did. As we entered your little compound to come and kill you and your team, we saw all around your compound 39 giants protecting you all, and we fled." Some time went by. David Livingstone returned to that little church in Scotland and shared this story. Somebody, I believe it was the pastor, said to David Livingstone, "Could you please tell me the date and the time?" It so happened that David Livingstone kept meticulous notes. Opening up his little diary, he showed the date and the time of when they were to be butchered by the chief and his men. And the pastor exclaimed, "Wow, amazing." Well, David, at that particular time, in this little church, 39 people were praying for you and your ministry. My precious friend, you will never know the impact that you make. Don't ever be discouraged. Never stop pursuing your destiny. Never ever stop encouraging people to find their destiny. Never ever stop believing that God can use you, will use you to impact nations. We don't know how. That's not our business. But God definitely will. And never stop praying. May God bless you and may you be encouraged. The God of heaven has a purpose for you. Your destiny in the hands of an amazing God.